Hi everybody, I'm here to explain forms to you in HTML. So I built a form, and what you have to understand is that forms are used to collect data from users. So they need to be easy for users to fill out. Otherwise, users will not fill it out. Okay? So that's what the introduction is. I'm teaching here simple forms, the basics of form. So as I said, I'm not going to go over what I put here in the beginning of the HTML because we all know what we need to do. Okay, so here in the content part, inside the body part of the HTML document, I decided to start with a heading 1 and a section. And as we know, the section needs a heading, and I use the heading 2. Now, let's go to the form. The form starts with the form tag. I'm not going to go into details about what other attributes can be used inside the form tag because this is an introduction to HTML. What matters is for you to understand how a form is built. The idea is that we are going to build this form here. So we will ask the user the full name, date of birth, t-shirt color, so what t-shirt color he or she wants, and number of tickets. That's what we have. Then we offer a submit button and a clear form. Now, let's go then to the code. In the form, all of these parts here before the form is the heading 1 and the heading 2 of the section. Inside the form, for each input tag that I put a label because the label, it increases accessibility for folks that use screen readers, okay, to understand the form. So you want to make a form that is accessible even for people that might have vision disability or might be having problems to use the keyboard or the mouse, whatever they need to use, and they sometimes need to use screen readers. So the label, how the label is done, we have the label tag and the for attribute. The value of that attribute will be the same value of the ID of the input tag that the label refers to. So for full name, I have the input tag that, well, full name is the name of the user, so it's going to be a text type. Okay, he's going to type letters. So we put input type text. Then the name attribute, without that attribute, when you are building a real case, a real form, if you don't put the name attribute, the user will type that data, and when he submits the information, he submits the form, that data, that input that you did not put the name is not going to be transmitted to the server or to whatever is going to be waiting for the data to process the data. So the name attribute. Now, note that in this case, I'm using the value of the name attribute, the same of the ID. Not necessarily they need to be the same, but to make things easier for me and to present a simple form to you, I'm putting the name attribute the same as the ID. The name attribute is very important for the programmer that will be writing programs for the server at the back end. That's how they will recognize what data they are referring to in their program. So full name. Now, the label for the date of birth, because I use DT as the value of the ID, that's why I put the DT as a value for the for attribute. Now, in this case, I'm asking for a date. That's why I'm using input type date. Now, for color, I'm using input type color. You see, those are new input type elements that HTML5 offers to us. Now, for the tickets, number of tickets, I'm asking for a number. So because I'm asking for a number, I will put input type number. All of this type makes the input of data to the users be easier. So let's see how this is going to show up. Well, for the full name, it's a simple text. So in that scenario here, what I'm doing, I'm shorten a little bit this screen so you can see the code and at the same time what's going on in the browser. So full name, so I'm going to put my full name here. You see, it's text. I could type number too if my name would have number, I don't know. Date of birth, look how beautiful this shows up. I did not put any MMDDYYYY here in the input type. I just said that it's date, but look what happens when the user clicks inside of it. It shows a calendar. So that means that I can choose the year, okay, that I was born. So I can choose the year. So I go to the year that I was born, 1962. I go to July, and I was born on 19. So look, the date shows up to me. The user does not even need to type, but if they want to type, they can. Okay? Now, the t-shirt color, look at this. Because I use input type color, now it shows a color palette. So I can go here and I say, oh, I love purple. So that's the color that I'm going to choose, and the color shows up. Now, number of tickets. You see here that it shows like those two arrows here because it is going to spin numbers. See, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, of course, you can put minimum and maximum when you use input type number, but I'm not going to go into those details because this is for more advanced classes. Okay, so now I filled out everything. Now, if it was, I gave up, no, I'm not going to submit this form, that's what the clear form is used for. How this clear was coded, this clear form, it's an input type reset. So when I click on the clear form, it clears the whole form. Okay, so that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this explanation about a very simple HTML form. Have a nice day.